Okay, so our fenders just showed up from Amazon. These are, I don't even know how to pronounce it. It's a little covered up with a tape, but there you go, there's the brand. I have no idea how to pronounce it. I'm gonna try. Here they are. Actually pretty nice. These are real similar to the rough country ones. I had those on my other Jeep. Decent thickness, maybe a little thinner than the rough country ones. So, got limited daylight. I'll go ahead and try to get this installed. We've got our hardware here. Let me get this out of the bag and we'll see what we got. So what's nice about this kit is it comes with these riv nuts. I guess that could be a detractor to some folks, but what should be nice about this kit, as opposed to things like the rough country, first of all, it's a little cheaper. $60 cheaper. It's about $150 from Amazon. Rough country requires you to use self-threading, self-tapping screws, sorry, and I'm not a big fan of those. This kit comes with this insertion tool, which is pretty hokey for these riv nuts. The idea is you use these nuts to butt up against the panel, and then you draw them in with this bolt. But I would highly recommend going to Harbor Freight, picking up one of these riv nut tools. You need, I bought spare fasteners too, to show the size what you need. Need this 1/4 inch 20 UNC. So 1/4 inch 20 UNC is the size that you need for the riv nut tool. And you can see it's already threading in there. So for these guys, you essentially, sorry about that, I have the camera to release the handle on it, but essentially set these so you can compress it with a handle. Oh, hang on. Okay, so get your riv nut tool set up. You want to make sure that it's as open as it can be so you can get some good compression on it. And then just tighten down this little set sleeve and then thread your actual riv nut on there. And then we're going to go ahead and move it over the vehicle and pop it in the hole, and hopefully it'll work. So you give it some squeeze. This is kind of hard to do with one hand. Definitely compressed. I'm going to pause the video. What we're going to do is we're going to tighten up this little knob here, this little wheel, just to make sure that we've got it good and set. And then we'll give it a little bit of a squeeze after. Okay, so there it is, set into place. Real nice little deal. So we got to do it to all the, this is the front fender, pop it into all the main clip locations. I think there's 9 of them, and then we'll end up bolting the flare on. Okay, so here we are with all the riv nuts installed for the front flare. So they go in nice and flush. It takes a little bit of time, even with the tool. I'd say it took me, I don't know, about 30 minutes with the tool just to do this one side. So I'm sure other folks get it done faster, but what was happening is the little thread adapter, since you can take this out to change it out for different sizes, would come loose. So I had to really crank it down, and then things went better after that. Just make sure you snug it up. When you snug it up, draw it a little bit, snug it, but don't, kind of feel it out. Don't really crank on it, because I've heard you can rip the threads through and then you'd have to drill it out, and that would not be fun. So we're gonna go ahead and see how the fender fits. Okay, so we have all the hardware installed, just loosely. You can see all the bolts in, it all went in nice and easy. You know what? What's really cool about this kit is they put the washers and the lock washers on there out of the box. So that's pretty cool. It definitely helps expedite the process. But let's go ahead and tighten one of these bad boys down. Holds just fine. So go ahead and make sure it's where I want it and tighten everything up. But that's not a bad install at all. Okay, so there it is, all tightened up. Thinking with these riv nuts, you don't want to use much more than a hand driver, just so you don't start to spin them in there, because if you do, you gotta pretty much take it all apart. But I mean, that goes in real nice. It's actually a really nice looking piece for the money. It's about 150 bucks. Covers up that bracket just enough. It's right on the edge from the profile. It's about as tight as you can get without cutting that bracket off. So yeah, definitely happy with this one so far. I'm gonna go ahead and put the rib nuts in the rest of it, but same process all the way through. So I'll do a daylight shot when it's all done, but the process is the same. No self-tapping screws or anything, so keep putting them on. So it took about 2 hours to get everything done. I can't imagine how long it would take with the little tool it comes with. Again, I highly recommend just spending the 25 bucks and getting the tool from Harbor Freight or on Amazon. I got one on Amazon, it wasn't so good, so I'd honestly recommend getting the Harbor Freight one. But yeah, these went on real nice. Seem pretty sturdy. I could imagine if you hit some really heavy tree limbs or something, maybe you'd bend it. But right here, I mean, you got the bend curve to give it some strength. So I can't remember. I think the Rough Countries may have had a beaded edge to make it a little stronger. I'm not certain. But again, the way those go in, I'd almost rather take the risk of bending these and having to replace them than having kind of the janky way that the Rough Country ones go in. So yeah, definitely like them. I think they definitely improve the look. It's a little dark, can't really tell the phone flashlight how it looks, but much better to me than the, yeah, it's too blurry back there. Much better to me than the plastic stock Fenders. So yeah, I'd recommend these so far. 150 bucks on Amazon. Install's not too bad. So there you go.